we can be quite certain that Hadi Choopan is definitely improved from last year's Olympia showing. We're going to take a look at a comparison between the man himself, Hadi Choopan, at the 2023 Mr. Olympia, and just yesterday's prejudging at the 2024 Mr. Olympia event. And we will take a look at the Arnold Classic as well, but there's a lot of poses from that event that the pictures just did not jive. There was some screenshots and the angles were so much different. And furthermore, this is the Olympia. And wow, I might have been a little bit hard on Hadi, saying he was not big enough, he was small. But look at him compared to last year. It's unbelievable. His midsection was the best one out there last year. Wasn't it? Well, it looks like a bloated whale in comparison to himself. So you're allowed to call him a bloated whale compared to himself. Against somebody else? No, that would be rude. His legs are definitely washed out as well. At last year's Olympia, take the extra size if you want. Most certainly improved. 100%. Now, let's go through the shots. Then you can see why I use this version instead of the Arnold Classic. I mean, take a look. The pictures don't jive. He's hitting the pose at a different spec as well. But if I had to guess, Arnold Classic is probably just as conditioned or more, plus the size. Now here's last year's Olympia, and yeah, his wheels might have been bigger, but much, much softer, less separation. So yes, Hadi Choopan most certainly, judging from the front anyway, the midsection itself too, guys. Look how deep his abs push in. They're scraping against his back. They're in there right to the very back, I'm telling you right now. Unbelievable, you could put your hand in there and feel how small his waist is. Just minute. Go to the front, lat spread. Almost sounded like that song. Go to the front, lat spread. To the front, lat spread. There's too many words. Doesn't work. Yeah, that little bit more detail, or in certain shots, a lot more detail that Hadi brought to that midsection, to his abs this year. You can really see it here in this front lat spread. Looks like a fresher physique. Definitely leaner is better for this man. His lats seem to be jetting out a whole lot more as well. Now the legs, I think that's probably the biggest difference. They look soft last year. They definitely look improved. Smaller though. See, against himself, that's great. A little bit of size, but against a guy like Derek, well, that's a different situation. That's a different story altogether. He needs his size plus the condition. Here's the side chest. Now the side shots from the Arnold Classic were pretty unusable. Definitely didn't tell us much. He's opened up more last year. Now if there's any poses that extra size is going to show up in, it will be the side shots. And he does look pretty massive last year. Now sizing is an issue. He's bending at the knees more last year. Made him a little bit shorter, but I think I could have stood to make him even smaller. But I don't know. The way Hadi was standing next to Derek and Samson in the side chest, he looked pretty slender. And in the side tricep as well. So take it for what it is, guys. I mean, his head looks bigger. Usually their heads get smaller because their bodies get bigger, but he said he was going to come in as dry as the desert Sahara. The Sahara Desert? I think he said that. He's opened up more last year anyway. He just looks funny to me last year. I don't know what it is. I don't know. Can't put my finger on it. Much more aesthetically pleasing this year. Very slender. Very slender. Can that hurt him in the lineup? Definitely doesn't hurt him versus himself. Now the back shots are what interest me the most. I'm not one of those guys. Well, maybe I am to you guys, to some of you fellers, but I'm not one of those guys that focuses just on the glutes. But hear me out. His glutes, they look like they're gone. They look like they're small. And his left glute, no separation whatsoever. Now that I noticed that, like I never noticed it before, he does have more separation in that glute, or in his right glute last year. But having said that, his back is so much better. His legs, yes, smaller, but perhaps more conditioned is he. And the back itself, I don't know what happened last year. He has quite a girth in the lower lat insertions, but he doesn't seem to be as wide. Now, this is interesting to me. Let's have a look at the Arnold Classic version. Wow, see? The back seems to be much more similar here at the Arnold than he is at the Olympia. A little bit even bigger, I would suggest. Now he does, now that I noticed that smooth glute. On the left side, glute was a little bit smooth here too. And the wheels themselves, they had the condition at the Arnold. But my soul, they were an inch or two bigger at the Arnold, I can tell you that right now. So he put everything into the wheel size coming into the Arnold. Man, oh man, it paid off, but not as big now. Here's the rear double, and we'll begin with the back this time. Then we'll get into the glutes here in just a second, because I know you guys can see them too. He does look decently wide last year. He looks better in the rear double in comparison than he did in the rear lat spread. Thicker traps, perhaps, this year. The lighting is a whole lot better. Now the hamstrings, the quad, look how little, small he is this year. That is very concerning. Now, onto the glutes. Hold on, hear me out. He knew that he had one striated glute and one too smooth glute, so he kept his smooth glute covered up. You see that? And he uncovered his right glute. But this year, he's trying to cover them both up. But look how smooth. That looks like Hassan Mustafa's style bum condition. Or worse yet, Lou Ferrigno from the 92 Olympia, or the 93. It was even soggier. Here's the Arnold Classic version, and the wheelbase is the first thing that I notice. And admit it, guys, you can see that one smooth glute. Even at the Arnold. But look at the size of his wheels. He needed that at the Olympia to battle the likes of the Derricks and the Samson Doudas, because I noticed in the comparison. From behind, especially from behind. But especially from the front. But more so from behind, his legs looked the smallest in the group. So with all due respect to Hadi Choopan, here's the abs and thigh. I don't know what, I'm a loss for words. He went for the condition, like a Sean Clarita in 212. But, I mean, there's a fine line. You get to a certain type of condition where you can put size on, and that's what you want, I think. And I firmly believe, here at the Arnold Classic, he was just conditioned enough. Might be arguably more drier now, because he is so much smaller. But he was able to pack on that leg size at the Arnold's. Not even close to me, guys. So if your argument is that he's a little bit drier now, Arnold Classic, most certainly the best Hadi Choopan that we've seen. I think ever, perhaps. But the question is he improved from last year's Olympia? Absolutely. Shredded to the diced. Peeled, or as I say, peeled. You guys like my voices? I can do Homer Simpson. Come on, I don't want to watch bodybuilding. I want to eat donuts and eat cake. Pie. But anyway, yeah, Hadi Choopan, if you take an overview, and I'm being honest here, you look at one quad and then you look at the other. Yeah, it's hard to gauge because there's so much more separation now, but you look at the upper body versus lower body, his proportions were better last year. Looks like his big giant quads match that ginormous upper body, chest, abs. And this year, a little bit larger up top. That can affect his placing when it's that close. Right down the very center between him and Derek of the making of this video. So what I say will be heard in the future, and they'll say, oh, he either knew what he was talking about or he didn't. Well, it's just a prediction, but I do believe that he will not defeat Derek. Derek will become a 2-time Mr. Olympia champion. And if I'm wrong, as far as you Hadi Choopan fans are concerned, well, I hope I am. As far as the Derek lovers, hope I'm correct. Have a great one, guys.